I looked at her across the dim coffee shop table, and she had that look, that half smile, that knowing smirk that made my chest tighten. Then she leaned forward and said it. Can single dads really handle lonely women? I opened my mouth to answer, but she raised her hand. Don't, not yet. And I didn't, because I wasn't sure I could. My name is David. I'm 37. I have a 7-year-old daughter named Emma, and I've been doing this alone for 3 years now. Her mother left when Emma was 4. No fight, no affair, just a note on the kitchen counter that said she couldn't do it anymore. I didn't chase her. Maybe I should have, but I was too tired, too angry, too focused on the little girl crying in her room who didn't understand why mommy's things were gone. So I became everything. Father, mother, cook, cleaner, homework helper, bedtime story reader, tear wiper, monster chaser. I learned to braid hair from YouTube videos. I learned which Disney princess was which. I learned that some days, survival is success. But loneliness, that came with the territory. It settled into my bones like winter cold. I stopped going out, stopped trying. My friends drifted away because I couldn't make their weekend plans anymore. My life became school drop-offs and bedtime routines and figuring out how to explain why some kids have 2 parents and Emma only has 1. I met her at Emma's school. Her name was Rachel. She was a 3rd-grade teacher. Not Emma's teacher, but I'd seen her in the hallways during parent-teacher conferences. Tall, dark hair, always pulled back, professional, distant. She had this way of walking like she was guarding something, like she'd built walls and wasn't interested in letting anyone see what was behind them. We didn't speak for months, just polite nods in the hallway, until one afternoon when I was late picking up Emma, really late. There was an accident on the highway. My phone was dead. I was panicking. When I finally got there, the school was almost empty. And there was Rachel, sitting on the front steps with Emma, reading her a book. Emma was laughing, actually laughing, something she didn't do much around strangers. I jogged up, breathless. I'm so sorry. There was traffic. My phone died. Rachel looked up at me. Her eyes were brown, deep brown, tired brown. It's okay, she said quietly. She's okay. Emma ran to me. I picked her up even though she was getting too big for that. I looked at Rachel over my daughter's shoulder. Thank you, I said. Really, thank you. She stood up, brushing off her jeans. Don't worry about it. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I know what it's like to be running late. That was it. That was the first time. The second time was 2 weeks later. I saw her at the grocery store. She was standing in the frozen food aisle, staring at a freezer full of dinners for 1. She looked lost. I almost didn't say anything, but Emma pulled on my hand and said, "Daddy, that's Miss Rachel." Rachel turned, saw us, and for a second I saw something flicker across her face. Relief, maybe, or loneliness recognizing itself in someone else. "Hey," I said. "Hey," she said back. Emma waved. Rachel waved back. And then we stood there in this awkward silence until Emma said, "Miss Rachel, do you like mac and cheese?" Rachel laughed, a real laugh. "I do, actually. My daddy makes the best mac and cheese in the whole world," Emma announced with the confidence only a 7-year-old can have. I felt my face get hot. She's biased. Rachel looked at me, really looked at me, and she said, "I bet she's right." I don't know why I said what I said next. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the way she looked at those frozen dinners like they represented everything wrong with her life. Maybe I just wanted to do something kind for someone who'd been kind to my daughter. "Do you want to come over for dinner sometime? I mean, if you're free, no pressure, just, mac and cheese." Emma jumped. "Yes, say yes." Rachel hesitated. I could see her thinking, weighing, calculating risks. Then she smiled, that same smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Okay," she said. "Sure." We exchanged numbers in the middle of the frozen food aisle. Emma was thrilled. I was nervous. Rachel looked like she was already regretting it. But she came. That Friday night, she showed up at my door with a bottle of wine and a nervousness that matched mine. Emma answered the door and grabbed her hand, pulling her inside like they were old friends. I watched from the kitchen, stirring the pasta, and I thought about how strange it was to have another adult in my space. The house was clean, mostly. There were toys in corners and drawings on the fridge I'd forgotten to fold. I'd spent an hour after work trying to make it look less like a disaster zone, but Rachel didn't seem to notice, or if she did, she didn't care. Dinner was easy. Emma talked nonstop. Rachel listened, actually listened. She asked questions. She laughed at Emma's stories. She complimented my cooking, which was just boxed mac and cheese with some extra cheese and breadcrumbs on top. Nothing fancy, but the way she said it, you'd think I'd made something gourmet. After Emma went to bed, Rachel and I sat on the couch with our wine. The house was quiet, too quiet. I wasn't used to having another adult around after bedtime, wasn't used to conversation that wasn't about cartoon characters or homework. "Thank you for dinner," Rachel said softly. "Thank you for coming," I said. "I don't do this," she admitted. She was staring at her wine glass. "I don't go to people's houses. I don't make friends easily. I'm better alone." "Are you?" I asked. She looked at me, and for the first time, her walls cracked. Just a little. "No," she whispered, "but it's safer." I didn't ask her what she meant then, but I understood, because I felt the same way. She started coming over more after that, once a week, then twice, sometimes with wine, sometimes with ice cream, once with a puzzle that she and Emma worked on for 2 hours while I did dishes and listened to them laugh. She never stayed too late, never overstepped, never asked for more than I could give. But something was growing, something quiet and careful, something neither of us wanted to name. I learned things about her in pieces. She was 34, divorced, no kids. She'd wanted them once, but her ex-husband didn't. Then, when she finally convinced him, she couldn't get pregnant. The marriage fell apart under the weight of that disappointment. She threw herself into teaching, into other people's children, into being alone because alone meant not getting hurt again. I told her things too, about Emma's mother, about the note, about the guilt I still carried for not fighting harder, about the exhaustion that lived in my bones, about how sometimes I looked at Emma and felt like I was failing her every single day. "You're not," Rachel said firmly one night. We were sitting on my back porch. Emma was asleep inside. The stars were out. "You're not failing her. You're showing up. That's more than most people do." "It doesn't feel like enough," I admitted. "It never does," she said. "But it is." She reached over and squeezed my hand. Just once, just for a second, but it was enough to make my heart forget how to beat normally. We didn't talk about what was happening. We didn't define it. We didn't kiss or hold hands or do any of the things people do when they're falling for each other. But I was falling, slowly, carefully, terrifyingly. And I think she was too. Then came the night everything changed. It was late. Emma was at a sleepover for the first time ever. I'd been nervous about it all week, but Rachel convinced me to let her go. "She needs to be a kid," she'd said, "and you need a break." So I let her go, and I sat in my too quiet house and didn't know what to do with myself. I texted Rachel without thinking, just, "Emma's gone. House is weird." She texted back, "Want company?" I said yes before I could overthink it. She came over with takeout and beer. We ate on the couch and watched a movie neither of us paid attention to, and somewhere around 10 o'clock, when the movie was over and we were both a little buzzed and a lot tired, she turned to me and said, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure," I said. She bit her lip, looked away, then back at me, and then she said it. "Can single dads really handle lonely women?" And she smirked, but it wasn't a happy smirk. It was a defense mechanism, a shield, a way to ask a real question while pretending it was a joke. I opened my mouth to answer, but she raised her hand. "Don't. Not yet." So I didn't. She took a breath, let it out slow. "I'm a mess, David. I'm lonely. I'm broken. I'm scared of everything. I want things I can't have. I want—" She stopped, closed her eyes. "I want you, but I don't know if you can handle that, if you have room for someone like me in your life, if you want someone like me in your life." My heart was pounding. "Rachel," she continued, her voice shaking, "I know Emma comes first. She always will. And I'm a mess too. I'm exhausted and scared, and I don't know what I'm doing most days. I don't have a lot to offer. I don't have time or energy or anything resembling a normal life, but I have this. I have right now, and I want to spend it with you." She was crying, silent tears running down her face. "That's all I want, right now. That's enough." I reached over and wiped her tears with my thumb, and then I kissed her, soft, careful, like she was something precious I didn't want to break. She kissed me back, and for the first time in 3 years, I didn't feel alone. We didn't rush. We didn't tear each other's clothes off like in the movies. We just sat there on my couch, holding each other, kissing slowly, letting ourselves feel something we'd both been avoiding for too long. When she pulled back, she was smiling. "So you can handle me?" "I'm gonna try my best," I said. "That's all I need," she said. But trying was not easy. The first month was beautiful. Rachel came over 3 or 4 times a week. She and Emma were inseparable. We'd have dinner together, watch movies, do homework. Rachel would help Emma with her reading. I'd watch them together and feel something expand in my chest. Something like hope. Something like family. But then reality set in. Emma's mother called. Out of nowhere. After 3 years of silence, she wanted to see Emma, wanted to be involved again, wanted to make up for lost time. Emma was confused. I was furious. Rachel was there when I got the call. She held my hand while I shook with anger. "What are you going to do?" Rachel asked. "I don't know," I said. "She doesn't get to just show up now. She doesn't get to—" "She's her mother," Rachel said quietly. "Emma might want to see her." I looked at Rachel, and I saw the pain in her eyes, because Rachel wanted to be a mother, and here was a woman who'd walked away from it. It wasn't fair. None of it was fair. "I can't think about this right now," I said. Rachel nodded. She kissed my forehead. "I'm here," she said. "Whatever you need." But I could feel her pulling back, just a little, just enough to notice. Then there was the school thing. Parents started talking. Gossip spread. The single dad and the teacher. People had opinions. Some parents thought it was sweet. Others thought it was inappropriate. Rachel's principal called her in for a conversation. Nothing official, just a reminder about professional boundaries. Rachel came over that night looking exhausted. "They're watching me," she said. "People are talking. I didn't think it would be like this." "Do you want to stop?" I asked. My stomach dropped as I said it. "No," she said quickly. "No, but I'm scared. What if this affects my job? What if parents complain? What if—" "We'll figure it out," I said, but I didn't know how. Then there was the time issue. I couldn't go out on dates, couldn't do spontaneous dinners or weekend trips. Everything revolved around Emma's schedule. Rachel said she understood. She said it was fine, but I could see the disappointment, the frustration, the loneliness creeping back in. We had our first fight on a Tuesday night. I'd canceled plans because Emma was sick. Rachel had taken the night off work. She'd been looking forward to it all week, and I'd texted her an hour before. "Emma's sick. Rain check?" She showed up anyway. Not to see me, to help. But when she walked in and saw me with Emma, saw how tired I was, saw the reality of my life, something shifted in her face. "You look exhausted," she said. "I am," I admitted. "Let me help," she said, but I shook my head. "I've got it." "David, I want to help. That's why I'm here. That's what people who care about each other do." "I know, but what?" Her voice was sharp now. "But you don't trust me with her? But you don't think I can handle it? But you'd rather do everything alone?" That's not fair, I said. None of this is fair. She was crying now, angry crying. I'm trying, David. I'm showing up. I'm here, but you won't let me in. Not really. You keep me at arm's length. I'm good enough for dinner and movies, but not for the hard stuff, not for the real stuff. That's not true, I said. But maybe it was. Maybe I was keeping her at arm's length, because letting her in completely meant risking her leaving, like Emma's mother had left, like everyone eventually left. I love you, Rachel said suddenly. The words hung in the air between us. I love you, and I love Emma, and I want this to work, but I can't keep being on the outside. I can't keep waiting for you to decide if I'm worthy of being part of your life. You are, I said. My voice broke. Rachel, you are. I'm just scared. Me too, she whispered. But I'm here anyway. That should count for something. It did count. It counted for everything. We stood there in my kitchen, both of us crying, both of us scared, both of us wanting something we didn't know how to have. And then Emma called out from her room. Daddy? I looked at Rachel. She looked at me. Go, she said. I'll be here. I went to Emma, checked her fever, gave her medicine, read her a story, and when I came back, Rachel was in my kitchen, cleaning up, making tea, being there. I'm sorry, I said. I'm sorry too, she said. We sat at the kitchen table, held hands, talked, really talked, about fears and expectations and what we both needed, about Emma and boundaries and how to do this without losing ourselves. I need you to let me in, all the way, not just the easy parts. I need you to be patient with me. I'm learning. I haven't done this in a long time. I know, but I need to know you want me here, for real, not just when it's convenient. I do, I said. I want you here, always. I'm just scared of screwing it up. Then we'll screw it up together, she said, and she smiled, that real smile, the one that reached her eyes. The climax came 3 months later. Emma's mother showed up, unannounced, on a Saturday morning. Rachel was there. We'd just finished breakfast. Emma was in the living room watching cartoons. Rachel and I were doing dishes, and there was a knock on the door. I opened it, and there she was, Emma's mother, Lisa, looking exactly the same and completely different, nervous, guilty, desperate. Hi, David, she said. I couldn't speak. Can I come in? She asked. No, I said. David, please, I just want to see her, just for a minute. I know I don't deserve it, but… You're right, I said. You don't. Rachel came up behind me, put her hand on my back. Lisa's eyes went to her. Understanding dawned. Who's this? Lisa asked. There was jealousy in her voice, the audacity of it. I'm Rachel, Rachel said calmly, and you need to leave. I want to see my daughter, Lisa said, her voice rising. Emma heard. She came to the door, looked at the woman standing there, tilted her head. Who are you? Lisa's face crumpled. I'm your mom, sweetie. Emma looked up at me, confused, scared. Daddy? I picked her up, held her close, looked at Lisa. You gave up that right, I said quietly. You don't get to show up now and call yourself her mom. You want to be part of her life? You go through the courts. You do it the right way. But you don't show up at my door and upset her. I made a mistake, Lisa said, tears streaming down her face. I know I did. I was overwhelmed. I was scared. I needed time. But I've changed. I want to be her mother again. Time? I repeated. You needed time? It's been 3 years. She cried for you every night for 6 months. She asked me every day when you were coming back, and I didn't have an answer. Because you didn't want to be found. You wanted to be gone. I'm sorry, Lisa sobbed. I'm so sorry. Emma was crying now too, buried her face in my shoulder. Rachel stepped forward. You need to go, Rachel said firmly. This isn't the time or place. If you want to see Emma, you do it legally. You don't show up and traumatize her. Lisa looked at Rachel, then at me, then at Emma. I'll call my lawyer, she said finally. I'll do it the right way, but I'm not giving up. She left. I closed the door, put Emma down, she ran to Rachel, wrapped her arms around Rachel's legs and cried, and Rachel held her, stroked her hair, whispered that it was okay, that she was safe, that we were all here. And I realized something. Rachel wasn't on the outside anymore. She was part of this, part of us. Emma trusted her, loved her, needed her. That night, after Emma was asleep, Rachel and I sat on the couch, exhausted, drained. "Thank you," I said. "For what?" she asked. "For being there, for handling that, for being exactly what we needed." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "That's what family does," she said softly. "Family," I repeated. The word felt right, felt true. "If you'll have me," she said. "I already have you," I said. "You're already here. You've been here. I just needed to stop being scared of it." "And now?" she asked. "Now I'm still scared," I admitted, "but I'm more scared of losing you. So if you're asking me if I can handle you, if I can handle lonely women who want complicated things and messy lives, the answer is yes, because you're not just some lonely woman. You're Rachel. You're the person Emma runs to when she's scared. You're the person who shows up, who stays, who loves us even when we're difficult. So yes, I can handle you because I love you and I want you here, for real, forever if you'll stay." She was crying again, happy crying. "Forever sounds good," she whispered. I kissed her, and this time it felt different. It felt like a promise, like a beginning, like coming home. The legal battle with Lisa took months. It was ugly and painful and expensive, but Rachel was there through all of it. She went to court hearings. She held my hand through mediation. She helped Emma process her feelings about having a mother who wanted back in. She never overstepped, never tried to replace Lisa, but she was there, steady, constant, loving. Eventually, Lisa got visitation, once a month, supervised at first. Emma was confused but curious. I was terrified but trying to be mature about it. Rachel was supportive but protective. We figured it out, one day at a time. A year after that first dinner, Rachel moved in. Emma was thrilled. We turned the spare room into Rachel's office. We merged our lives in that messy, complicated, beautiful way that real families do. There were arguments about dish soap and bedtimes and whose turn it was to take out the trash. There were tears and laughter and exhaustion and joy. And every night after Emma was asleep, Rachel and I would sit together on that same couch where she'd asked me that question, where she'd smirked and challenged me, where everything had changed. "I was right, you know," I said one night. "About what?" she asked. "About single dads handling lonely women. It's not about handling. It's about showing up, being brave, letting people in, building something together." She smiled. "Look at you, getting all wise." "I learned from the best," I said. "Emma," she joked. "You," I said seriously. "You taught me that love doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. And this is real." "Yes, it is," she whispered. And it was. Messy and complicated and imperfect and absolutely real. We weren't a fairy tale. We were better. We were real people who chose each other every single day, who built a life together one moment at a time, who loved each other enough to be scared and show up anyway. Emma calls Rachel Mama Rachel now, her choice. Rachel cried for an hour the first time she heard it. And Lisa, she's part of our lives now too. It's awkward and sometimes painful, but Emma deserves to know her mother, and Rachel is secure enough in her place to let that happen. People still talk sometimes, still have opinions about the single dad and the teacher, but we don't care anymore because we have this. We have each other. We have a family we built from broken pieces and lonely nights and courage neither of us knew we had. Can single dads handle lonely women? I don't know about all of them, but I can handle Rachel because she's not just a lonely woman, she's mine, and I'm hers, and together we're exactly enough.